had been kind of sick for about 10 years, and then a friend called me and said, oh, there's a daycare center at St. Andrew, maybe that would help. So I went out and applied, and sure enough, a few months later, she became part of that daycare center. Oh, she was active, she had fun, she just loved it. She loved her St. Andrew's Club. It was her club. I mean, I didn't want to say daycare or anything like that. It was her club. Well, it did basically three things for me. And the first thing was that it gave me time. And then the second thing was it gave me the ability to relax, which I had not been able to do for a long time. And finally, it gave me the opportunity to sit on the side of her bed, hold her hand, and be with her when she passed.
The congregation really rallied around the idea of doing an adult daycare, and we saw it, if we could have a good partner, that it was something that this little church could definitely do.
I received a call from the pastor on June 5th, 2018. We had a meeting, and then the miracle happened. And the outcome is our center.
So this partnership that we have with Alzheimer's Community Care, it's a great story. It's a great story that tells of helping the community and making it into a better place. I think I was here about a year, and we paid off our debt, and suddenly we were debt-free. We were debt-free, and we have 6 acres of beautiful land right in the middle of St. Lucie West, which is incredible, you know, like having that. And we started looking for ways that we could creatively get back into debt. So we started quizzing the congregation. It's like, what's a good way of doing this? And we began to investigate different things. We were looking at all kinds of different means of helping the community. We started hearing stories about these adult daycares, you know, people with help that help folks with Alzheimer's and their families, and we started finding out more about them. Of course, Ed Bach really helped lead the charge on that.
When we had a planning committee meeting here at Grace, that I said, why not try to contact somebody from Alzheimer's Community Care and have them come out and tell us what it's all about, because it's a fantastic program and it's so good for the patients, so good for the caregivers. My wife was Barbara, and she attended the Alzheimer's Daycare Center at St. Andrew Lutheran Church, close by here. I was caring for her at home. She had been kind of sick for about 10 years, and then a friend called me and said, oh, there's a daycare center at St. Andrew, maybe that would help. So I went out and applied, and sure enough, a few months later, she became part of that daycare center. Oh, she was active, she had fun, she just loved it. She loved her St. Andrew's Club. It was her club. I mean, I didn't want to say daycare or anything like that. It was her club. Well, it did basically three things for me. And the first thing was that it gave me time. And then the second thing was it gave me the ability to relax, which I had not been able to do for a long time. And finally, it gave me the opportunity to sit on the side of her bed, hold her hand, and be with her when she passed.
The congregation really rallied around the idea of doing an adult daycare, and we saw it, if we could have a good partner, that it was something that this little church could definitely do.
I received a call from the pastor on June 5th, 2018. We had a meeting, and then the miracle happened. And the outcome is our center.
So this partnership that we have with Alzheimer's Community Care, it's a great story. It's a great story that tells of helping the community and making it into a better place. I think I was here about a year, and we paid off our debt, and suddenly we were debt-free. We were debt-free, and we have 6 acres of beautiful land right in the middle of St. Lucie West, which is incredible, you know, like having that. And we started looking for ways that we could creatively get back into debt. So we started quizzing the congregation. It's like, what's a good way of doing this? And we began to investigate different things. We were looking at all kinds of different means of helping the community. We started hearing stories about these adult daycares, you know, people with help that help folks with Alzheimer's and their families, and we started finding out more about them. Of course, Ed Bach really helped lead the charge on that.
When we had a planning committee meeting here at Grace, that I said, why not try to contact somebody from Alzheimer's Community Care and have them come out and tell us what it's all about, because it's a fantastic program and it's so good for the patients, so good for the caregivers. My wife was Barbara, and she attended the Alzheimer's Daycare Center at St. Andrew Lutheran Church, close by here. I was caring for her at home. She had been kind of sick for about 10 years, and then a friend called me and said, oh, there's a daycare center at St. Andrew. Maybe that would help. So I went out and applied, and sure enough, a few months later, she became part of that daycare center. Oh, she was active, she had fun, she just loved it. She loved her St. Andrew's Club. It was her club. I mean, I didn't want to say daycare or anything like that. It was her club. Well, it did basically 3 things for me. And the first thing was that it gave me time. And then the second thing was it gave me the ability to relax, which I had not been able to do for a long time. And finally, it gave me the opportunity to sit on the side of her bed, hold her hand, and be with her when she passed.
The congregation really rallied around the idea of doing an adult daycare, and we saw it, if we could have a good partner, that it was something that this little church could definitely do.
I received a call from the pastor on June 5th, 2018. We had a meeting, and then the miracle happened. And the outcome is our center.
So this partnership that we have with Alzheimer's Community Care, it's a great story. It's a great story that tells of helping the community and making it into a better place. I think I was here about a year, and we paid off our debt, and suddenly we were debt-free. We were debt-free, and we have 6 acres of beautiful land right in the middle of St. Lucie West, which is incredible, you know, like having that. And we started looking for ways that we could creatively get back into debt. So we started quizzing the congregation. It's like, what's a good way of doing this? And we began to investigate different things. We were looking at all kinds of different means of helping the community. We started hearing stories about these adult daycares, you know, people with help that help folks with Alzheimer's and their families, and we started finding out more about them. Of course, Ed Bach really helped lead the charge on that.
When we had a planning committee meeting here at Grace, that I said, why not try to contact somebody from Alzheimer's Community Care and have them come out and tell us what it's all about, because it's a fantastic program and it's so good for the patients, so good for the caregivers. My wife was Barbara, and she attended the Alzheimer's Daycare Center at St. Andrew Lutheran Church, close by here. I was caring for her at home. She had been kind of sick for about 10 years, and then a friend called me and said, oh, there's a daycare center at St. Andrew. Maybe that would help. So I went out and applied, and sure enough, a few months later, she became part of that daycare center. Oh, she was active, she had fun, she just loved it. She loved her St. Andrew's Club. It was her club. I mean, I didn't want to say daycare or anything like that. It was her club. Well, it did basically 3 things for me. And the first thing was that it gave me time. And then the second thing was it gave me the ability to relax, which I had not been able to do for a long time. And finally, gave me the opportunity to sit on the side of her bed, hold her hand, and be with her when she passed.
The congregation really rallied around the idea of doing an adult daycare, and we saw it, if we could have a good partner, that it was something that this little church could definitely do.
I received a call from the pastor on June 5th, 2018. We had a meeting, and then the miracle happened. And the outcome is our center.
So this partnership that we have with Alzheimer's Community Care, it's a great story. It's a great story that tells of helping the community and making it into a better place.
Good morning, everybody. You can keep on talking. We'll start in just a few minutes. All right? Just keep on going. I know you want to listen to me, but you can't yet. You can't. Don't worry. I'll talk for at least an hour for you. All right? Just got to wait.
It's going to be interesting to see what it's like with all the people at it today.
Yeah, when
Loud?
it'll help because they'll help absorb.
Everybody's close. Yeah.
So let's see here. So what do you think? Should we start here soon?
Give it another minute. Car just came in. I'm waiting to see if it might be Gail. Yeah. Look for it. If it's wearing the red, it's Gail.
It's easier to remember.
Hard to remember.
And you only gave me one number.
Hi, Linda. I'm Chris Escher.
I know. We met before.
You one day, then you show me neighbors.
You have a...
Look, it's got fancy flair on the bottom of it, so that you know what's going on. Listen, they were going to give you something. I said, not for Linda. Not for Linda. She knows what she did.
Yeah, we'll do that.
It's great. His name is
Yep. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. It's great to have you here. Yeah, Good morning, everybody. It's great seeing everyone here. We're sitting out here under a nice tent in the parking lot. We have a nice, beautiful new facility that's going to bring good news to so many people over the years to come, and we are so excited about that. My name is Chris Escher. I am the pastor here at Grace Lutheran in Port St. Lucie, and it's amazing. Oh, that's why I had that pause there. It wasn't because I couldn't. It was pausing for clapping breaks and all that. You know, that's what we're working on around here. But we have some amazing people here today. I'd like to say hello to Ken Pruitt. Ken Pruitt's here. He's one of the main lobbyists for Alzheimer. There he is. I was kind of like, pointing around. Ken Pruitt's one of the main lobbyists for Alzheimer's community care, has done so much for the community that suffer with Alzheimer's here in the Treasure Coast and south of us, right? And so thank you so much for all of that. And his son, Mark. Welcome, welcome. It's great having you guys here. We have the Pilot Club of Fort Pierce. They've been very strong supporters of the Alzheimer's community care and for those in need. Yeah, give them. Yes. So thank you guys for coming here. We have Michelle Franklin, which is our St. Lucie County property appraiser. She's here. Yeah. She does an amazing job for us citizens here in Port St. Lucie and in the county. So thank you so much. We have Jessica Parrish from the St. Lucie County United Way. She's back there. Thank you for coming here. I've gotten to go to a few of the fundraising opportunities that Alzheimer's Community Care has. Mary brings me around, and I get to act like a little show pony and things like that. You know, like that. And I got to meet Jessica there, and it's incredible being able to see the kindness and the benevolence that exist here in South Florida through the United Way and through all these other organizations. It's truly incredible, and by us taking part in that, we're part of a good group of people. It's really great. We also have Sean Michelle, the St. Lucie Mitchell. Sorry, that's my bad. There he is, Sean Mitchell from St. Lucie, one of our commissioners in St. Lucie County. Thank you so much for being there. And I promise I'm never going to mispronounce your name again. Like that's, oh my goodness, that's enough embarrassment for one day. Let's see what else. Let's see what other problems we can get ourselves in. Nancy, you're now. There we are, Yancy and Arnell from the Area Center on Aging. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here and coming in. And then also We have a ton of members from Grace Lutheran Church. So thank you guys for all coming here. We also have a Korean church that meets here with us, and there a bunch of people, and their pastor and president are here as well. Thank you so much. And that's part of the story that we want to talk about today and celebrate this morning, is that about it's almost like 4 years ago now, this little church, which was just this little thing right over here, was we paid off all of our debt. And look at all this beautiful land we have here. And we were talking, and we're like, let's find a creative way to get back into debt. Like let's it's the American way. We need to live as good citizens, you know. And we looked around, and something that was interesting from this congregation was, let's do something that doesn't just benefit us. Let's not build us a bigger sanctuary or something like that. Let's do something that benefits the community. So we knew we wanted to build and add on to something. We didn't know what it was yet, and so we started looking around, and we were quizzing the congregation, trying to see what they wanted to do. And that's when we kind of discovered Alzheimer's community care. You're going to hear Ed Bach's story, and Ed was really the one that was like always knocking on our doors. It's like, hey, we should do an Alzheimer's daycare. Hey, we should do an Alzheimer's daycare, right? And we didn't listen at first, of course. It's like, no, we got to do the, But we listened to him, and because we saw that there was a bunch of people out in the world that have a lot of bad news told to them. That's people, when they get that diagnosis, they feel alone. They feel like they got nowhere to turn to, and they feel like it's just bad news is coming on top of them. And the cool thing is about our churches here, and especially this church, is we are people of the good news, right? We believe in the good news of Jesus, that he has saved us. But because of that, we believe that we can just give good news away. And when we found out that there was a place for those people that have Alzheimer's that can come, and their families, and receive good news for the first time, maybe, and that they can see hope going forward, that they can see a new day happening in their own life, then that would be giving good news. And we saw that, and we started going right to them, and we went into Mary's office, and we're like, hey, we really like you. We want to work with you. And the day we came was June 5th. Now, you guys got to understand, June 5th is one day after the universally recognized best day of the year, June 4th. That's my birthday. And June 5th is her birthday. It's the second best day of the year, right, Mary? Yeah. So we ended up visiting her on her birthday, and we came together, and it was such a good meeting. And that's been, 4 years now? 2018, so 3 years now. 3 years now, and look at what we've done. Look at this. It's amazing. And many of you have probably seen inside already, but many of you will see inside. This is a beautiful building. It matches the facade here. You can see it from the road. It's absolutely wonderful, but it's even better on the inside. Where our patients will be, the paint colors, everything around there is this calming shade, and it's there to bring good news and calm for those people that are struggling with Alzheimer's. So that's kind of our story here at Grace. Why we did this, why we wanted to work with Alzheimer's community care. Because here's the honest thing. I'm sitting here making jokes and making things laugh and all that stuff. But Alzheimer's community care makes this little church look better than we really are. And we are so grateful that we could. You hear that was my church clapping in the back. Like that, did you hear that? Like they're like, yes, amen. Amen. Like but they all, like, it's an amazing thing that's going to bring good news to people, and we know it's going to be run well. And we are so grateful for that. Because if we had to rely on me to run it well, I'm not going to say anything. But it's great to have everyone here. Thank you so much. It's such a joyous day to us all here. And I would like to first introduce Robert Gorman, who's the president of the board of directors, Alzheimer's Community Care, representative for the estate of Theodore Boulay, and who was a significant founder of this project. He will also speak on behalf of William and Helen Thomas of the Charitable Trust, who generously donated funds for the activity room that you will see and also for the upcoming Memory Garden. Bob has become just an amazing asset to us, someone that if I have a deep pressing need, I know I can call and he will always be there for me. And so I really appreciate everything he's done for us so far. So Bob Gorman.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those very kind words, Chris. I'm Robert Gorman. I'm the chairman of the board of directors, Alzheimer's Community Care. I've been involved with the organization continuously here in St. Lucie County now for about 13 years, but even before that, shortly after it was created in Palm Beach County. It's always been a pleasure to be involved. My job is made very easy, not only by a very capable executive staff and the frontline staff that work our daycare centers, our family nurse consultants, etc., but more importantly is my board of directors, 7 of whom are here today, 3 of whom who drove all the way up from Palm Beach Gardens. I'd like you all to just stand for some recognition. These people are very, very dedicated. They're extremely dedicated to the organization and to the work of the organization and to this project. We have all been thoroughly engaged and thrilled to be working with Grace Lutheran and its congregation in this very unique project. You know, we're here to celebrate today this beautiful building, multi-purpose usage, and shows what's truly possible when 2 community-oriented organizations, one religious and one secular, come together to embark upon a project that benefits the entire community. For Alzheimer's Community Care, this project would not have been possible without the very generous support of many donors, 3 of whom we will talk or tell you a little bit about today. One is the William and Helen Charitable Trust, the Theodore Boulay Estate, and the major benefactor, the Leo and Ann Albert Charitable Trust. Mr. Gene Franzo, who's the trustee. Yeah, really. You know, I'll just ad-lib it here. Mr. Gene Franzo, who's the trustee of the Leo and Ann Albert Trust, wasn't able to make it today. His presence is planned. We have a picture of him here. He has, through that trust, benefited the organization. Gene, you know, please. Yeah, really. He is a very humble man, and we miss him greatly. And let me recognize State Senator Gail Harrell, who's also present. Thank you, Senator. But first, let me tell you a little brief history or information on the William and Helen Thomas Charitable Trust, which was created in 1990 and primarily does its philanthropic work. Many people in this community are already very familiar with the William and Helen Thomas Charitable Trust, but they have generously supported Alzheimer's Community Care and specifically our Family Nurse Consultant Program and our specialized dementia-specific daycare centers since 2015. As this project was going forward, they stepped forward and wanted to continue the support of the Family Nurse Consultant and specifically sponsoring the Family Nurse Consultant office here and for future construction, a memory garden including a gazebo behind the new facility. The generosity of the William and Helen Thomas Charitable Trust in support of the Family Nurse Consultant Program and the development of this memory garden will bring peace and comfort to families afflicted by this terrible disease. Not only will the attendees have the benefit of the very definitive services of Alzheimer's community care in the daycare setting, but now with the addition of the gazebo and memory garden, a opportunity to reduce stress, to provide mobility, to have a increase in socialization, and for the families, a beautiful and tranquil space. On behalf of the families in our community living with Alzheimer's disease, the Alzheimer's Community Care appreciates deeply the continuing support received from the William and Helen Thomas Charitable Trust. Now, Mr. Theodore Boulay, another benefactor for this particular facility, is a gentleman who more recently lived in the Eustis area and died in late 2018. And it's the story of a man who very much loved his first wife and evidences how good works and service lasts long after it is performed. Mr. Theodore Boulay and his first wife, lived in South Florida more than 15 years ago. She had Alzheimer's. She was an attendee at our Boca Raton daycare center, one of the first ones. After she died, Mr. Boulay moved from the area to the Eustis area, eventually remarried, and Alzheimer's Community Care staff, executives, had no further contact with Mr. Boulay. Until in early 2018, we received a notice of his death and that Alzheimer's Community Care was a beneficiary under his will. In fact, because his second wife had predeceased him, his entire estate was to be divided equally between two charities, one of which was Alzheimer's Community Care. I personally did not meet or ever know Mr. Boulay. However, I've had the opportunity to work with the personal representative of his estate and his longtime attorney, who told me that Mr. Boulay, though he changed his wills many times, there was always one constant. That constant was that there would be a bequest for Alzheimer's Community Care. The reason? He was very appreciative for the care and attention given to his first wife. Now, we didn't know anything about anything involving it, but the funds from Mr. Boulay's estate were a significant donation to this project. In fact, the main center or activities room in the Center for Alzheimer's Community Care's portion is named in his honor. But while that's generous and gratifying, it's only a part of the story. In mid-2019, Alzheimer's Community Care Board of Directors at one of its board meetings was considering some means of cutting some of the expenses for maintenance at our numerous facilities spread out over 3 counties. We discussed purchasing a truck and utilizing in-house maintenance and repairs to free up additional funds to provide services, particularly within our daycare centers. There must have been divine intervention that day, because I received a phone call towards the end of that board meeting. Mr. John Feldman, the personal representative of the estate, advised that there was a truck in Mr. Boulay's estate that was relatively new, without a lot of miles, but it had a few dings in it. And there is some history behind that as we learned a bit more about Mr. Boulay and the community. But he wanted to know that rather than selling it, would either of the two charitable organizations like to receive it as a early distribution, part distribution on their ultimate distribution out of the estate. To say that all of the eyes among the board members and senior executive staff at Alzheimer's Community Care that afternoon looked skyward would be an example of fabled British understatement. Now that truck, which has received the wrap with the logo of Alzheimer's Community Care, has been outfitted for doing maintenance and repairs throughout all of our facilities in the three-county area, acknowledges the generous gift of the Theodore Boulay Estate and Travels, Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie counties, making repairs, maintaining the facilities utilized by us in all three counties, serving the community, and also freeing up funds compared to what was going on before for the benefit of our patients, their families, caregivers. The story isn't over, though. A significant sum from his estate continues to be held by Alzheimer's Community Care Foundation for future investment in the communities served by Alzheimer's Community Care. You see, good works and kindness do have their rewards. It's a gift that keeps on giving back and forward. Yes, good works shall follow you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gorman. Thank you so much. And next I would like to bring up Mary Barnes, who, with having a birthday right after mine, makes it the two best days of the year, right in a row, right? And she would like to speak on behalf of Mr. Peranza.
This is really a very special day for Alzheimer's Community Care and for our board members and also all of the congregation. And I can't be more humble about this day because it will keep on giving for so many families that need our help. Mr. Gene Pranzo is the messenger for the Leo and Anna Albert Charitable Trust. I had the privilege of meeting Mr. Albert, and he supported us for always. For the first time he came to know us, I met Gene at his funeral, and we introduced each other, and so we started talking about the projects that we were wanting, and who the organization was, what we were doing, and the love of his life, of Leo's wife, was his wife Anne, and they had quite the relationship, and he adored her. But he also said if he had known about Alzheimer's Community Care, he would not have had to put his wife into a nursing home as early as he did. Now, here's a very wealthy man. He was a very wealthy man, and he was a very generous man. And he would love to go out to Belglade, and he would love to go to their church, St. Mary's especially, and he would love all that. And he would constantly be supporting in different projects. But he also turned to understand what Alzheimer's Community Care was doing. So he became known to us as always wanting to make a difference. So when he passed away, and Gene and I sat down, the messenger, he said he felt it was a good way in the way we did our centers and our partnerships with the churches and in the community. Who is not more connected with the community but our churches? And who is the most that actually benefits and the need of the church, of what the church stands for in a community? So it's been a romance and a journey that we have had for the last, I would say, 5 years, or 10 years. 10 years, actually. When you're having fun, time flies. So we feel blessed with this promise and receipt of this altruistic donations, which we treat with reverence as an organization. Within every decision, and we make right down to the beautiful window treatments that you will see when you go into the center, because that's what Jean always loved, is those doggone plantation shutters. And they're all over the place. Besides the big, they really set a dignity and integrity in the center that really money can't buy. To really when it's all put together. We have the Leo and Ann Albert Alzheimer's Specialized Day Center in Pahokee. We have the Leo and Ann Alzheimer's Specialized Day Service Center in Wellington at St. Michael's Lutheran. Ann Albert Alzheimer's Specialized Day Service Center in Boca Raton at Advent Lutheran Church. The Leo and Ann Albert Alzheimer's Specialized Day Service Center in Port St. Lucie at St. Andrew's Lutheran Church. And now we have the Leo and Ann Albert Alzheimer's Specialized Service Center in Port St. Lucie at Grace Lutheran Church. This is a doing of our messenger, Gene Pranzo, and I know he's looking at us today, even though he can't be here. We're streaming. Is that what you call it? Streaming? And for supporting us all these many years, and many years to come. This center will do that. Thank you, Gene. You may be watching live stream, but we miss you. There is a belief that you keep one's spirit alive when you mention their names. And we will be saying Leo and Ann Albert's name every day with an echo from our hearts. Gene Pranzo. And that's amen to my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. And now I am honored to introduce Senator Gail Harrell, who has supported the mission of Alzheimer's community care for many, many years and has been a voice for the vulnerable in the population here in the state of Florida that are living with Alzheimer's disease. Senator Gail Harrell.
Thank you so very much. It is truly a delight to be here and to support Alzheimer's community care. I've been involved in this mission. Mary, how many years? Oh, it's 15 years, 20 years, 20 years at least. And yes, and of course, our wonderful Senator Ken Pruitt, who was our previous senator many years ago, president of the Florida Senate, and he also made this a mission. So I'm carrying his water, really, because this has been an ongoing mission for the Treasure Coast to really help make sure that our constituents, our citizens who are suffering from Alzheimer's have the place to come, a place to be part and enjoy their last days, and also give their caregiver some respite. You know, in Florida, as we look at the cost of health care and the increasing number of seniors and what we call the old, our seniors, the over 85, the incidence of Alzheimer's is increasing dramatically, and the cost to the state of Florida is huge. And we want to make sure we keep folks as happy, as safe as possible. And Alzheimer's community care does that. Not only do they do it for the individual, but in the long run, they do it for all of us. Someday, we might be at a wonderful facility like this, being cared for by wonderful people such as Mary and the rest of Alzheimer's community care. But, you know, from the state perspective, not only are you serving the community and your individual patients, you're serving the state. Because at the long run, the longer we can keep someone, and we heard this earlier, the longer we can keep someone at home with a loving caregiver and a wonderful place to come during the day, the more money the state saves. So our investment at the state level is really an investment for the entire state, not just for the people it serves. But it allows us to make sure that we are using all those dollars wisely and we're taking care of the people who need that care. So I just want to say thank you, Mary. Thank you to Grace Lutheran Church. It takes a community, and our churches, and what I love about this is we do this through our churches, the foundation of our community. So thank you to Grace Lutheran Church. Thank you for all being here, and especially thank you to Alzheimer's Community Care.
Those are beautiful plaques. Beautiful plaques. Thank you, Senator Harrell, so much for all your support over the years. Me? Great having everyone here, isn't it? So we had the Florida level. Now we invite Linda Bartz from the county level, one of our commissioners here, and she's also been a longtime supporter of Alzheimer's community care and all the families of St. Lucie County living with dementia. So thank you, and I invite you up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. But I've walked around. Those of you who are a part of Grace Lutheran and the church here, especially thank you. And you said there's another church also involved.
Yeah, our Korean church.
And the Korean church, without your innovation, without your love and caring, this wouldn't be here. This absolutely wouldn't be here. And I can't tell you how many people will be using this. And I will also say, this is not enough. This is just a start. So I want to thank you all. I had a gentleman that I know who is a mentor, who I've known for many years, who I was fortunate enough to work with his wife and his family. And I got a phone call one day. He said, Linda, it's Ken Pruitt. I said, hey, how are you? He said, I got to ask you if you can help me. He said, we need the wrist, I want to call them wrist monitors for our Alzheimer's patients. I went, that's a no-brainer. For those of you that don't know me, I took care of my dad who had a brain tumor, but presented obviously as somebody with dementia. I won't tell you that I lost him in a grocery store one day, couldn't find him, panicked, and tried to figure how I was going to call 911 and tell the police that this 70-year-old man got kidnapped. Because I was sure that somebody had taken him. Because I had walked that shopping center for a good 30 minutes. And as I was thinking, I thought, let me go check one more time. Because he was supposed to have gone to the restroom. He did, but that was it. As I took one more walk through Publix, there he was, looking at the lobsters. I said, Dad, weren't you supposed to come out and wait for me? Oh, yeah, did I forget? Yeah, it's okay. Let's go to the car. But I will tell you, it was a frightening situation. I have 4 brothers. I would have called them all and say, hey, guys, I lost Daddy. So not a good thing. So for the church to step up and for the comfort that you give to those caregivers, it is remarkable. This is a model that will be repeated over and over and over again in our state. And you should be proud to be that innovative and embrace this community. So, as Senator Harrell, this will give much calmness, serenity, care for those suffering with Alzheimer's. But this will also give a respite for the caretakers. And that is so needed. I was fortunate enough to be with Mary Barnes at the other center and see what good it did and how much the caregivers needed that respite. So I'm going to tell you today again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to the board. Thank you to everybody who had taken that moment to come here. This is amazing. This is so much needed. And everyone should be so proud of yourselves. We have those monitors. We have those things happening. I am motivated by that woman that disappeared in Vero Beach. To this day, my heart breaks for that family. What a monitor would have done for them. So I will continue the fight. I know the importance. And I can't do anything without all of you. So, thank you. My good part.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Linda, for everything you've done for the citizens of St. Lucie County, and all, especially those suffering from memory. We also have a plaque for Linda. Thank you so much, Linda. Next on our agenda, we actually had the mayor, but he unfortunately was not able to join us today. So that makes me sad, but it's all right. Our next one is Ed Bach, and before Ed comes up to talk, I want to tell a little bit about the church and Ed's relationship and all that. For those of you that grow up in churches, getting the church to go and do something together is near impossible, right? Like that's near impossible. And once we kind of outlined how this whole deal was going to work, how all of this was going to happen, we did all those informational meetings and all those things. And Ed was talking, we used Ed a lot in his story, which he's going to talk a lot about. We put it up to a vote on a Sunday morning, like you do for things. And you know what? The very first vote, it was 100%. Everybody. Incredible, right? Incredible. And we mentioned the Korean church earlier. Pastor Kim, would you mind standing up? They are part. They are not physically part of us, but they are part of us. And anytime we do anything, including this endeavor, the Korean church is right there with Grace. And so we love the Korean church so much. Thank you for being here. And yes, Ed has been a member here at Grace for more years than Moses was alive. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. And You will see him in the video that is looping, or maybe you got part of your with your invitation to this event. It's his story, and his lovely wife Barbara, who we got to have lots of meals with, are a big reason of why we are all here today. So Ed, I'd love to invite you up to speak and tell your story now.
Hey. Yeah, it's got to go higher because I'm not short like you.
Easy there. Just remember to speak into that.
Yeah. I don't speak extemporaneously, so I will use some notes printed out. I serve Grace Lutheran Church right here as an elder, member of the planning committee, member of the building committee, and lately part-time shirt salesman. You'll notice all the blue shirts around. We should be proud of our little church. God is doing great things right here because of this church. My wife Barbara was a kind and vibrant lady, a mother of one daughter, foster mother to 19, not all at one time, a Girl Scout leader, a Mary Kay consultant, and she worked her way up to unit sales director and won 3 diamond rings and a Mary Kay car. Yep, she drove one of those pink Cadillacs, you see. Yeah. Then in 2008, our daughter died of brain cancer, and we began to notice that Barbara was forgetting things. She couldn't remember if she put the eggs in the cake mix. And then she couldn't remember what day it was. In 2011, her doctor diagnosed her with Alzheimer's disease. By 2016, she would ask, "Is my father coming over?" Her father died in 1964. "How about my sister? Can we call her?" She died in 2000. Then the hardest question for me of all. She'd pound the sides of her head and she'd say, "What is wrong with me?" And I'd just tell her, "It's okay. We all forget stuff. Don't worry." I had to fight back the tears then, and I'm doing it now. Caring for her at home was becoming more and more difficult. I considered placing her in a nursing home memory care facility. But that would have drained our emergency fund and probably taken us into bankruptcy. We're not wealthy people. So late in 2017, I learned that St. Andrew Lutheran Church, where we had been members at one time, was starting a nursing, Alzheimer's community care daycare facility. So, in February of 2018, they called and said, "Come for an interview." So we went out, and while we were there, the program director said, "Why don't you have Barbara sit in with the group while you and I fill out the paperwork?" So that's what we did. When I came out, after filling out the paperwork, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and she was singing and smiling and having a good time. So the program director said, "Why don't you leave her here till lunchtime? Come and get her then." At 12:15, when I went back to pick her up, she was laughing and bouncing a beach ball back and forth with another patient. She was having a great time. So the next Wednesday, she started to go to Alzheimer's daycare one morning a week, Wednesday morning. That turned into Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. That turned into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings. And then in 2019, or the late 2018, all day. She ate her lunch there, too. Was a whole new Barbara. Whole new Barbara. She loved to play all the games. She won at bingo, and she'd wear the plastic beads that they gave out as prizes. It was wonderful. In June of 2018, she went all day, eating her lunch there, too. Her enrollment in ACC allowed her to live at home where she belonged. It gave her a reason to get up in the morning. It gave her a reason to live. Early in July of 2020, she started forgetting some really important things, like how to swallow. Well, that was a big thing because I had to now feed her soft foods for every meal. And that kind of knocked out going for lunch, so she went back to all mornings. Then one morning she woke up and I wrestled her out of bed and got her dressed and got her out to the living room, and she said, "I just can't go to club today." That's what she called it. It was our club, St. Andrew's Club. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, I'm just too tired." So that was the beginning of the end. She went downhill from there, and in July, she stopped eating. And the end of July, I could hardly get her out of bed. August, I called in hospice to take care of her at home. No hospice house at home, because I had been given the skills because of Alzheimer's community care to be able to work with her. You never tell them, no, you can't do that. It's always, it's okay. Sometimes we all make that mistake. Everything's going to be fine. Well, August 3rd, Alzheimer's Community Care kept in touch with me. They kept calling and saying, "How's everything going? Is everything all right?" And then on August 12th of last year, Barbara took Jesus' hand and went with him, and I was able to be with her holding her other hand. It was wonderful. If I'd have put her in a nursing home, instead of that, I'd have been receiving a phone call. And I didn't want that. I wanted her with me. So, about the same time that Barbara entered Alzheimer's Community Care at St. Andrew, you heard that Grace Lutheran Church was debt-free. So, a church never thrives if it's debt-free. I know that from being a treasurer and a business manager of a couple churches. Anyway, so we got Mary, good old Mary Barnes, one of my lately best friends, to come out and talk to the planning committee about Alzheimer's community care. Well, the committee loved the idea, so we brought it to the church. The church says, "Yeah, let's talk about it." So we formed a committee with them and designed a building for both uses, and 16 months ago, broke ground right over there. 16 months, and here it is. It didn't go smoothly. There was problems with contractors, and I won't mention anything about the neighbors, but did Barbara deserve to get Alzheimer's disease? No. Did she suffer? Yes. But God has worked for good here today because of that disease and her suffering. Because of ACC, Barbara remained more active and engaged, and I was able to be with Barbara holding her hand when she drew her last breath. instead of receiving a phone call from a nursing home. With this center here at Grace, many more caregivers will get that privilege, and hundreds and even thousands of Alzheimer's patients will be able to receive loving care, that same life-sustaining mental and physical stimulation that Barbara received for many, many years to come. God bless you all.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you so much, Ed, and for the inspiring words and just giving the heart of what we're all trying to do here, what we're trying to accomplish, to bring good news, have people in their home, and let people know that they're loved, that may feel unloved for whatever reason. So thank you so much for that. So I have to introduce a few more people here. You guys know last year we had a very challenging time, right? With the whole Ronas and all that stuff, right? Like, so we had that happen, and we really like to spread the load out here at Grace Lutheran, but that really, it changed everything. And I'll introduce you to the three amigos. I'm one of the amigos. Kevin and Claude. Pat, you're welcome to come up as well. Come on up. We need to, if it wasn't for, like, I'm just the pretty face and the words, all right? That's all I am. But that's it, right? But Kevin and Claude made this happen during the pandemic. They came down, they were part of it. There were lots of phone calls, maybe sometimes too many, Claude. Yeah. That's lots of phone calls, and they made it happen this year. That we built this, and we built it efficiently, built it faster than a lot of things around here got built. It's that this was built, so thank you guys so much. But, yes. Claude, what? So you guys know June 4th, the best day of the year is mine. The second best is Mary Barnes, stuff like that. And we would celebrate the best day, but there's a third best day, right? What day is that, Claude? 24th of May. 24th of May. That's closer than Mary and I's. And how old will you be, Claude? 96. You'll be 96 years old. Now, something I've learned about Claude over the years is that if there's something he wants to celebrate, like St. Patrick's Day, he always wears a silly hat. And so, since you're the closest birthday boy, because 96 is a great accomplishment. So let's all sing happy birthday to Claude. So, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Claude. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Kevin and Claude, thank you so much for this great building that we have out here. Thank you to everyone at Grace. You want to say one more thing? Listen, I was closing up. I had power. I was doing.
Just a minute. You know, like everything else, we have our board, but we have our staff too. And our staff is all around here. And I would just like for our staff to put up their hands and just, they have worked just as harder than I was able to do. So just, and one of the amigos, and a fourth amigo is Mike. Mike's vice president of our finance, and many times he came up to work with contractors and to work with contractors and to work with contractors until the time we had it all pulled together. But thank you, Mike, as well, but all the other staff and the staff that made this day possible, too. So thank you, guys.
Pardon? Thank you for coming up here. If you haven't worn that St. Patrick's hat, I wouldn't have gotten you that. So thank you so much for everyone here. I have my one last paragraph I gotta go through here. So
There will be a video. If you haven't seen the video, it's playing inside. You're welcome to watch that. I talk on it, so you know it's going to be excellent. And we'll have a ribbon cutting in just a second. And after the ribbon cutting, you're free to go and get food and roam around and look at the beautiful building. Check some things out. There's light refreshments. And all the food was generously donated by Oak and Ember Steakhouse. When I talk about they make us look better than we really are, it might be Chili's if we were doing it. So Oak and Ember, that's amazing. So that's truly amazing. And so I have, before we do the ribbon cutting, I have like a little prayer and blessing. So let us pray. Watcher and keeper of all your creation, our Lord, attend to your servants who enforce the rule, who serve the sick, who keep the store, who teach the young, who labor at their craft, who minister with your word. Preserve our community from recession and depression, from epidemic and contagion, from misrule and disharmony, from fallout and pollution, from drought and flood, and from fire and holocaust. Help all citizens to work for the common good through useful interventions, through good regulations, through helpful occupations, through wholesome recreation, through good manufacturing and meaningful education. And Lord, bless Alzheimer's Community Care and Grace Lutheran Church in Port St. Lucie, that we would continue to have a great relationship, bringing grace and goodness and good news to everyone around us. Give us all the grace to obey and trust and live in harmony through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you, everyone. And we'll now have our ribbon cutting. Yeah. So we have the initial. So everyone that you're getting your picture taken, we're going to do the initial one. Then we'll celebrate. Then everyone can come through, and then we'll do shoot pictures afterwards. It's like a wedding.
This is group one.
Group one. Thank you for coming. I'll dismiss you here in a second. Thank you for joining into our festivities this afternoon and morning, right? Both of them. You guys all be blessed. Thank you for all your support that you've given to our two organizations. Grace, thank you so much for being an incredibly kind and generous congregation. And enjoy all the hors d'oeuvres. You're free to go. May God bless and keep you all. I think I was here about a year, and we paid off our debt, and suddenly we were debt-free. We were debt-free, and we have 6 acres of beautiful land right in the middle of St. Lucie West, which is incredible, you know, like having that. And we started looking for ways that we could creatively get back into debt. So we started quizzing the congregation. It's like, what's a good way of doing this? And we began to investigate different things. We were looking at all kinds of different means of helping the community. We started hearing stories about these adult daycares, you know, people with help that help folks with Alzheimer's and their families, and we started finding out more about them. Of course, Ed Bach really helped lead the charge on that.
When we had a planning committee meeting here at Grace, that I said, why not try to contact somebody from Alzheimer's Community Care and have them come out and tell us what it's all about, because it's a fantastic program and it's so good for the patient, it's so good for the caregivers. My wife was Barbara, and she attended the Alzheimer's Daycare Center at St. Andrew Lutheran Church, close by here. I was caring for her at home. She had been kind of sick for about 10 years, and then a friend called me and said, oh, there's a daycare center at St. Andrew. Maybe that would help. So I went out and applied, and sure enough, a few months later, she became part of that daycare center. Oh, she was active, she had fun, she just loved it. She loved her St. Andrew's Club. It was her club. I mean, I didn't want to say daycare or anything like that. It was her club. Well, it did basically 3 things for me. And the first thing was that it gave me time. And then the second thing was it gave me the ability to relax, which I had not been able to do for a long time. And finally, it gave me the opportunity to sit on the side of her bed, hold her hand, and be with her when she passed.
The congregation really rallied around the idea of doing an adult daycare, and we saw it, if we could have a good partner, that it was something that this little church could definitely do.
I received a call from the pastor on June 5th, 2018. We had a meeting, and then the miracle happened. And the outcome is our center.
So this partnership that we have with Alzheimer's Community Care, it's a great story. It's a great story that tells of helping the community and making it into a better place.